Do you ever feel stuck in the rat race? Life doesn't have to be that way if you're willing to put in the work. In Bigger Vision, Chris Garrison helps you discover the keys to abundance, freedom, and personal growth that let you live the life of your dreams. And now, here's your host, Chris Garrison.
Welcome, everybody. You've made it to the Bigger Vision podcast. Appreciate you guys joining in. So happy that you decided to take a little bit of time out of your day to develop yourself, because that is definitely the biggest return on investment that you will ever make. And I wanted to just kind of talk about how to gain access to wealth. You know, so many times people, including myself, think things are inaccessible, that we should have a better pedigree, we should have a better financial status, we should have more education. All of these things are limiting beliefs that keep us from thinking that we can go and achieve what we want to achieve. And the reality is there are so many resources available that you should never be limited to think that you could not do anything. I just came back from a conference in Nashville where they were talking about business acquisitions. And in this business acquisitions, there is a great opportunity because we have 303 baby boomers that own businesses annually that are retiring. And 90% of the businesses that are listed for sale do not sell. That is a massive amount of businesses that are going to be going out, just dissolving, that have employees, that have systems, that have operations, that have revenue coming in. Maybe it's just not a large enough revenue to catch these institutional mergers and acquisitions, these private equity firms. So the opportunity is there for the person that believes they can go and grab it. I'm literally saw people that have never owned a business before purchasing these businesses and running them because they're plugging in a team. They know where their unique ability is and where they need extra help on skill set. So some might be strong in marketing. Some might be strong in operations. Some might have money. Some might have an opportunity. So the thing about it is you need to discover what you can bring to the table. Can you add value? Do you have a particular skill set? If you've got a particular skill set, then you can find something, a business for sale that is around that skill set, and then you plug in the extensions of the team that you need. So if you're not good at marketing, then you're going to reach out to someone that's great at marketing. You can find people that are out there that other people will refer and say, yes, they've done great for me in my business. Now you're boosting sales. You're getting more eyeballs on your service or your product. If you're great at marketing, but you're not good at operations, you're not good on plugging in systems and doing the IT, you're not that nerd, then you go find you a nerd, because now that person can sit there and develop automated systems to help you streamline so you stay consistent in your product or service that you're producing. See, we forget that we don't have to do it all on our own. And that is where the mistake is. Because when you stop feeling like you've got to know everything and solve every single problem, then you begin to break out of this lack. Because now you can go much further. There's a saying that says, if you want to run fast, you run alone. If you want to run far, you run together. So I know how to do referral-based marketing. I know how to build relationships. I'm great at problem solving and being resourceful and thinking big and not limiting myself and just saying it can't be done. So what am I going to do? I'm going to reach out to someone that knows marketing great, knows how to do SEO, knows how to do Facebook marketing and all of these campaigns. And that is who I'm going to plug in to drive the customers towards me. Then I'm also going to have them remarket to my customers that are already in my database. When it comes to systems, I suck at the detail, but I can paint the broad picture and say, hey, this is what I want to accomplish. And I think these are some of the ways to get there. What's your opinion? So I've hired an operation manager at Absolute. He comes in and he's detailing all of the shelves. He's getting these systems together. I mean, it's the back of the house is just transformed in our warehouse at this point in the last little over 30 days. So my whole point is you don't even have to know how to do that much. You've just got to have the vision and the passion to know that it is achievable. And you just find the pieces. Henry Ford was a great example of that. When they stuck him on the stand I forgot why he was in court, but they stuck him on the stand and was asking him questions trying to belittle his education. And he said, I know the answer to these because I've got a switchboard. I just hit a button and it transfers me over so that I can I can answer whatever question comes my way. That is why it's so important to surround yourself with people that are excellent at many different things. That is why I spend so much money getting into the rooms with these other high-level individuals. Because when you're putting money behind your action, you automatically know you're more dedicated. You automatically know the other person is dedicated. So it is a powerful thing when you walk into a room and they've had a barrier of 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 to be able to get into this room and spend a few days learning a skill set, and more importantly, networking with the other individuals in that room. So what I find is all of these masterminds that I go to, there's people with different skill sets. So if I need money, there's people over here that have a great network to where they can bring money in for a deal. If I need someone with a deal, then there's people that are out there doing lead generation and they're underwriting deals and finding those opportunities. If I need someone to do the systems and the operations, then I can go find my guy that's great at putting together these computer systems so that we can automate as much as possible so that we don't have inconsistency in quality. See, there's whatever you need in the right network, but you got to plug yourself into the right network. And one of the things that I learned is so many of us just have these limiting beliefs that it's not achievable. There's something that's holding us back. There's a barrier of something that's going to keep us from doing this. And so we use it as an excuse to say, this is why I can't do it. But that's bullshit, because I know a little bit about real estate. I'm practicing real estate now. I'm growing a rental portfolio. I've done flips. A lot of the same exact strategies. Here's what you need to know. Money gets used the same way in every industry. There's creative ways of purchasing and buying and selling any and everything that you want. So I can take the same concepts of how I purchase real estate, how I get creative in the financing structure, how I leverage teams and people with skill sets, bringing the contractors in and letting them do the remodel, having a project manager that oversees it, having a realtor that brings me leads or that sells the properties if I'm flipping them, having a property manager to oversee the rental process and to work the applicants so that we can make sure we're getting the correct tenant. You're leveraging other people's skill sets. It's the same thing in business. So in business, I can come and talk to these sellers, but what's so great is these businesses don't have the amount of buyers hunting and wanting their businesses. So you can definitely explain to them, you're probably not going to sell this business. This is why you need to owner finance this to me. And here's what I'm going to do to make sure that I take it to a higher level. Here's my goals. So now they're more confident that you are going to do great at this and you're not going to come in here and ruin something that they've spent their whole life building. And they're going to feel more confident to own or finance this thing for you, probably with zero down. And these businesses already have cash flow coming in. That is what's so amazing. You're not talking about $200, $300, $400 per property in cash flow. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially in cash flow. You go and get a $150,000 net profit company, that gives you some room to do something. You can afford to hire an operations manager, a chief operations officer, whatever it is, to plug in so that they can run that business for you. But when you go and you purchase a business that's got $30,000 net profit, you just purchased a job. And that is probably the biggest takeaway that I walked away from, because I built Absolute Cleaning and Restoration from scratch. And it was a bitch trying to build. I mean, when I got to the point where I was trying to get off of the truck and learn systems and processes, I had to go through 3 coaches to just try to get my head on straight. And finally, we got to a place where I could breathe and I was able to get some clarity and do some other things that I wanted. And every day it seems like it gets better. But that is the growth process from a startup to now. So how do you have a sellable business? If it's your business, it doesn't need to be dependent upon you. So what did I do in mine? I'm replacing myself. I've hired someone that does the sales and marketing. I've hired someone that does the operations. I've hired someone that answers the phone. This is why the government incentivizes businesses with tax credits, because now I am opening up opportunity for employment. And what happens when you give employment to a marketplace? The marketplace begins to thrive more, because now you've got individuals with income, with money, that can go and purchase services and goods. So it's putting money back into the market. That's why they love small businesses. Small businesses are the backbone of America. We live in one of the greatest countries. Capitalism is fantastic because that is what gives opportunity for anyone. With the will and the action, they can be successful. So I have learned that business is a better ROI than real estate. Does that mean I'm not doing real estate? Absolutely not, because I believe that business and real estate are the foundation of wealth in America, because business over here brings you massive cash flow, money that's coming into your bank account. And then that money is going to lose value because of inflation if we don't deploy it. So we deploy it into assets like real estate that will hold, that's a hedge against inflation. And then we capture the tax benefits. We capture the appreciation. We capture the cash flow. All of these things we're able to capture from our real estate. But when you've got both of them, you're able to just funnel them from business to real estate, from business to real estate, from business to real estate. And what's great is these two pillars, business and real estate, don't have to be boring, because you got tons of industries that you can be in with business. You've got tons of different types of real estate that you can get involved on the real estate arm. So let's strengthen our arms and grow those muscles. And instead of going out and starting your own business, why don't you help one of these baby boomers that's trying to sell their business but can't get any traction because the private equity firms aren't interested because the cash flow isn't that great? Come in here and find out where the weaknesses are. Tell them that you want to take their business to the next level and that you want to help them retire instead of dissolve a business that they worked their entire life for, sweat, tears, and stress, so that they walk away with nothing. You are going to come in so that they walk away with something. And they don't have to sell it, boom, bam, it's gone. Let them walk the journey with you. Say, hey, owner financed it this way, or let me come in for this amount of equity, and here's where we're going to take it, and we're going to make it a sellable business so that you can take a big lick and you can retire and go to the Bahamas or the mountains or wherever you're trying to go. See, you're solving a problem. We got to remember, we're solving problems. And when you become an excellent problem solver, opportunities are endless. But the last thing you need to do is to think that you are limited by anything like education or money or opportunity, because every resource that you need is at arm's length. But you better make sure that you're getting in the right rooms. You better make sure that you're getting in the right communities. Hop into a Facebook group that is about business acquisitions, that's about real estate, that's about whatever you're interested in, and comment on people's posts. Say, that was a great post. I like this information. Speak up so you get noticed in these Facebook groups, these forums. These Facebook groups are your network. There's no excuse. I don't care if you don't have the money to get into the room. Get noticed in these networks. And to get noticed, you have to speak up. You have to comment. You have to let people know that you're present. My life has absolutely changed in the last 7 years when I decided to let people know who I was and what I did. And I had to get out of my comfort zone and stop being scared of judgment. And all that did was make me even more secure in why I did what I did, because I had to make sure that I was justifiable in all of my actions. It made me a better person because I now did everything for meaning and reason. I was able to back up why I responded the way I responded, so that if judgment from someone came, I had a response. I want you guys to live in success. Whatever you want is just on the other side of your action. And until next time, let's grow together.
This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.